You're live.
That's it. End of your part. Thank
Can you do finger guns? Does that fit in?
drugs are negative.
Maybe.
So, trying to think of intros here. I think
You're looking for a beat guy.
we're getting into the beat industry.
If you got beats,
Beats by, I mean, whoever. Your name could be Dre, so we would do beats by Dre. Even.
we'll work with Dre.
Yeah, I mean, several different kinds. But I don't know, man. I thought about that a lot of times, like just doing it for funsies, dabbling and making sounds and seeing if they'll go together, you know, electronically. Uh-oh.
We're in Inception. Just keep talking.
So, welcome to the Dream Show live, 10:05, because I was not on time myself personally, but
10-ish.
any time is on time when you're live, right? I guess that's all that matters is if it's live. If you say you're live, it's on time because it's happening right then. It's like current.
They won't start the show without you when you're the star of the show, right?
For a while that'll work, and then all of a sudden they will, and then things are gonna go the other way. So, Parkway Automotive Studios,
Peach Podcast Syndicate.
Sir Isaac of Stackhouse,
What do?
out here slinging and banging, man. Dude, just working, trying to get the work done every day that's got to be did. You know what I mean? Teaching classes. We've kind of modified the schedule a little bit at the gym to make space for the like over 10, under 10 kind of kids groups to accommodate a different kind of learning style. So
what's it like teaching that age group? Like, how do they take to jiu-jitsu? What's
so
up, Wallow?
What's up, Wallow? Oh yeah, it's another thing. It depends. So the young groups, I mean, for both of them, it really just kind of needs to be fun for sure. I guess that's for all age groups. It needs to be fun, but for the young kids, they can't really hold out for long periods of like instruction. It seems it's really hard for them to stay focused and stuff. So you got to be able to keep them moving and changing and stuff. It's a lot more, you know, trying to get them to follow the structure and understand even like what it means to be in a training environment, to have, you know, to even line up in an orderly way, or to do a front roll or a back roll, you know, for the kids to even, you know, understand what some of that stuff is like, I think is what it ends up being for the kids under 10 a lot of times, unless they're in it for a longer time, right? Once they start younger, they could probably be better than that at a certain age, but still, they're just still immature before they hit about 10, somewhere around, you know, that age group. They start.
Do they understand what they're doing before 10? Do they understand like the goal of what they're trying to accomplish, or are they just kind of like ha 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 ha, like, or is it kid to kid?
I guess that it's kid to kid.
Yeah,
but definitely the more that they've trained and had experience, the more that they'll understand what it's like and how to do better. Because the kids the kids that have been with us the longest are doing good, you know, when they really apply themselves to what they're trying to do. But we still find them having those streaks of, you know, where, you know, bad days. Everybody has bad days, right? Everybody has a streak of bad luck, or, you know what I mean? It just, whatever you would like to call that thing, kids have that too, you know. So as an adult, I try to, you know, think that and give them the chance to work through those bad days without just going so hard on them or whatever about it, you know, because they are kids and they don't really need to do it. So, you know what I mean? Like as much and as hard as you would in other scenarios,
so
right?
Like, what's the different with an adult? So like, what's a day one with an adult? Like, even in the most advanced class, you can kind of grab them, give them a few of the basics, and then they're lost. But like a little kid, like coming in on day one, like,
dude, it really, honestly, it really does depend, because I've seen some kids that came in and had no experience, and within the first time or two, they were ready to jump to the front of the class. And then I've seen some that come in and they just don't get it. You know, they're just out of touch with that part of their body and how to use it and move it and stuff like that. Maybe they've never done anything physical before. And so I think we we're talking about it with somebody else last night. I think, and it's true for adults too in a lot of ways, but I think adults can kind of understand this better. Maybe being aggressive too much or being passive too much. It's typically the kids are kind of one or the other. It's hard to find them coming in with, a firm grasp of that balance to understand training. Like training speed. Like we're working to get there. So let them practice the tape, but don't just flop when he grabs your leg.
Don't just lay there.
Yeah,
I mean, you have adults, like you said.
That's what I'm saying.
But
I think, but like you can tell them about being too passive or being too aggressive, and it makes more.
They understand.
They understand more context. They already have more context to those words and those emotions and stuff like that when you're actually being. Because to them, if you tell them to go hard, they're just going to go hard. It's not being
trying to win.
They may not even be trying to. Right, exactly. They're just trying to win. If you ask them, it's like, I just want to win. Can I do this? Okay, I'll do it to win.
So do they understand winning? Do they understand that what they're doing to try to win? Or
the older they
winning
are,
a game?
The older they are, they definitely understand that more. Right. And then it took some time to get them set up to where we were letting them do submissions. We did a ton of positional stuff, mostly positional stuff for the whole first year. I bet we didn't even show real submissions.
Because a lot of the competitions at the younger age, they don't even allow.
Man, it wasn't even. It's not even
submission.
About that, though, right? It shouldn't even. You shouldn't even be about that, right?
Yeah.
You shouldn't even. I mean, just like the other team, you should have an element of where there could be a competition, section of stuff. But in the long run, you're wanting to build that baseline
of just
of understanding and knowledge of how to use your body and move through space when another person's resisting, or when they, how to breathe when you get overwhelmed, and how to calm yourself down when you get overwhelmed, and how to feel that feeling in your gut and learn what that means and what to do with it, instead of like letting it make you sick every time and want to run away, or making it make you mad every time and want to just like go ham. Learn it, what I mean? Like giving them opportunity to figure that out and what that is.
Emotional control and awareness. And
because trying to look at it honestly, man, I've seen it a lot with the kids, but I mean, looking at it from yourself or whatever too, like you felt the feelings of the butterflies in your stomach, or whatever, that pit in your stomach, or that whatever in your stomach, or whatever it is people talk about.
I had a grown man. Now he's a white belt, but like I had a little bit of a panic mode last night. He was a white belt. He made me panic for a second.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But you at least know enough to kind of know what's happening and what's going on in that situation.
Yeah.
And you could identify it.
Right.
And for them, they really can't, and it's just their stomach hurts and they don't feel good, or they get afraid, and it's okay to be, it's like, hey, it's okay to be afraid. Right. It's okay. Cool. I get afraid too when I have to go out, and I know that this other person is going to be very tough, and that it's the person that keeps beating you every week or whatever. Cause like, it's the same thing, like in training as adults, we don't go out there and try to hurt each other, compete, but we're definitely trying to best each other in the roles during training, right? Even if it's not a hard role, you're still trying to best each other when you're doing it. You're trying to, it's competition. You know what I mean? And that creates like a pecking order to a degree, no matter what.
Right.
And you could still teach a guy that can beat you in rolling some stuff, and that guy can still teach you some stuff too, right? But because that's not the point. But when you know that a person consistently has your number, that's a certain kind of feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you just got to go, like, what you got to just go, and everybody's looking or whatever. And it's like, all right, man, just go, just do it. And if you lose or whatever you think, fine, we'll go from there again, and it's tough for them sometimes because we're trying to teach them not to go hard and not hurt each other. But then it's like, but then you got to try to win. And so you got to try to go hard to win. Right. So, it's that thing.
How does that switch look like? How do they like? I'm sure that you've had a few that have been around long enough now that you've kind of seen them make that transition, or they're in that transition. Like, what does that look like?
Well, the one that I've seen the most, I guess, would be Thomas. To be honest with you,
yeah. I mean, that's your most direct.
Coming from being completely play in the gym kid, no serious anything ever, to where it's like, hey, you be serious now. And then he would go way too hard. And so it was like, all right. And now when I'm telling you that, I'm not saying to go out here and just like go 1000% with aggression and not think about the other person and not, have control of yourself and stuff like that. I'm not just saying go wild. I'm just saying use your stuff. Don't be laughing and playing. Don't be turning your, you know what I mean? Like things like that. It's like you can be serious, but not be trying to hurt the other person too.
Mm.
And he's trying to, I see him trying to figure that part of it out because it's hard. Because when you go light, the other kid doesn't know, the other adult doesn't know. They pass your guard, and now they're going to jump on whatever that thing that you left hanging out was because you were just kind of playing around with them a little bit or letting them work a little bit, And so I think that's probably hard to deal with when you don't understand what that is, because even like you said, adults don't even know what that is. Adults can't deal with that.
You run into that problem all the time on people that are like too floppy, too aggressive, too like whichever
right.
direction.
And so there's a conversation that I'm trying to have with him, not in the classroom every day. So it may be the benefit for him not being in the classroom because I don't want to hear the other kids because they don't need to know what that means either. But like letting them work, what that means, like let them work. Like you don't have to win every round. You don't have to just go flop for them either, though. Like how to make it a competitive,
because even quote unquote
experience,
losing the exchange, you get to feel the exchange all the way
play
through,
all the way out, right?
And you're like, okay, that's what this guy does in that whole scenario.
Yeah, and you're not going to get hurt, and he's probably not going to get hurt, and you're building up a good relationship with your teammate because you guys are working together, and you're
work hard, and you're getting all the benefits, all the stuff that we all take
all
for
the
granted.
Positive stuff that you get from that, the teamwork, the camaraderie, the understanding of like this is how we should be as like a tribe, I guess, for lack of a better word, right? In your community, in the group of people that you run with or whatever, you should always be like looking to help your person be better. You know what I mean? And sometimes that's challenging them in the field that you guys are in, right? So like in jiu-jitsu, it can be rolling or whatever, or checking somebody's knowledge, stuff like that. Or I guess like in a scientific way or whatever, it's like when you try to publish papers, peer review, stuff like that. It's got to go through the process of people like checking it out and seeing if it's legit, and like combing through it and stuff like that. And so it's your job as another practitioner in the field to like test someone's strategies or, if you're in the same like weight room, or in the same room as a training partner to test their, their skills, but then to also understand like building the other person up to give them time to understand what's going on too. Right. Like if you just keep beating them up, they're not going to understand it. They get discouraged. So you don't want to just go in there and just shut people down every single time and win with no interplay. But you can't just let them just win every time either without showing resistance and making them go through the process of struggling and failing to get to that process too. Because then the first time they go get somebody that's not like you, they're going to get roughhoused and get ran over, and that's going to be super sad and embarrassing for everybody involved then because they just didn't have any experience to understand it.
They weren't playing at the same level.
You're not being a good friend then when you're not letting people understand what they're going through.
Feel what is real.
Right. Yeah. Like a real pace and a real pressure and stuff like that. Not like real breaking pressure and like I'm not really trying to hurt you, but like
speed and pace and thought,
and outworking you and making you understand that there's thresholds for all those things. Right. Sometimes speed kills, but sometimes you can be moving too fast and you can show a person that, hey, if I just slow you down right here, I've got you because you have no slow game. And then you could also flip that. You can get the person who's only used to playing slow sometimes, and you can out like hustle them and make them get reaching and then beat them because they got caught reaching, and stuff like that.
Right.
So it's not one or the other. It's always either or. You could always push a person past whatever their chosen style is if you have the counter style to that style. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's an interesting thing. And so, yeah, I think with the kids, it's the same thing, but they just don't know anything. And so trying to teach them how to submit people without trying to like really hurt them, and then to let people work without having to make them hurt your arm or whatever, or choke you really hard to tap, you know. How do you learn that? You just got to kind of go into it a little bit and feel it out, and hopefully
And the culture that you're in,
we're paying attention.
Yeah. Because like that gets taken two different ways too. That like some people I see, like I had a discussion with somebody the other night about the fact that like they feel like the person's being a jerk, but all that's occurring sometimes is that the person's going hard in their mind. They think they're training hard. We talk about shoulder pressure. You should feel like you're breaking their jaw off. Like, and so like they're doing all the things that they think they're supposed to be doing, when in reality, all you're doing is you're sitting there just driving them into the dirt and you're not really accomplishing anything. But who does it fall on to decide the intensity there, like of training?
I guess the thing is, it's up to each person to decide what they're doing, right? But if you're the one that's just going ham, I guess, or just like smashing on the other person and consistently not getting a result out of them that's positive for them at all.
But to them, they're winning because they're holding somebody down.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Does this work only on this one person,
Right. Okay,
or does this work universally?
Are you getting wrecked by the higher guy and not knowing why?
Am I doing right? Exactly. Am I doing this because this person's smaller than me, way less knowledgeable than me, whatever the case may be, like that? Or is this a principle that I can try to apply universally to people, where if I do this, unless they're the outlier, then they get held down. The outlier doesn't now, but then the other guy, when you do this, if you need to hold them down, you can do this. And then now their next response from this has to be some sort of big movement, right? But if it's somebody who's already being beaten, you don't have to go that extra like rough mile to prove the point that you could also still do that, I guess,
and make their life miserable, right? For no reason.
Just for the sake of it in the training room. You know what I mean? And so I think that's the biggest thing. If you're out and fighting and you're out in the street fighting for sure, or what, you know what I mean? Like all bets are off. That's the thing. And then if it's somebody in an MMA fight or whatever, you got to hurt that person. That's kind of the deal, you know? So being rough in that situation, trying to elbow them more. Oh, that's only in my left ear.
Shot off to the side. Weird. That did it to me too.
Strange.
But Kara said that like legit communication is one of the key one of the keys into that conversation.
No, for sure. You got to be able to. Ooh, there we go.
We came back. We're back. Right. Surround sound.
All right. No, that's definitely it. Being able to talk to each other openly and being able to give and receive the honest feedback from one another about what's happening. You know, it's like, hey, I could have smashed you right here. And then they say, nah, I think I was blah, blah, blah. And then you say, okay, well, next time I will try to hold that, you know what I mean? Hold this position a little bit harder.
So who's that onus on? Is that on the person? Like if the person feels like that every single time they're rolling with this person, all this person does is go to one position, hold them down and smash them and squish them and just sit there and grimy, you know what I'm talking about? Like shoulder in the face, elbow. Like if that person feels like that happens every single time, is it on that person? I know that the evolution is on the person that's doing the smashing. They need to find a way to evolve, like we're talking about, of like, hey, are you making your game better? Yeah, cool. You can hold this one person down, but can you hold down this person? No. Well, because you're probably just relying on the fact that you're stronger, whatever attribute you're relying on. I know that that's the evolution that should take place at that person, but who is supposed to relay that information? Is that the instructor? Is that the person getting smashed? Because that's kind of a weird place to come from, because maybe you feel afraid to tell that person, hey, you're smashing me. Like I'm not trying to be a pansy or anything.
Well, so I guess that's what I'm trying to say. The most is like if it's coming from the upper rank, whatever person, if you're obviously the better one, if you're obviously the one that's better, like it's obvious that you're the one either knowledge based, rank based, competition based, or day-to-day based. Literally all we know that is that every day you can do this to me, you beat me up every day, and there's nothing I can do to that. if you're a good teammate, you try to tell them what that thing is they keep letting you do, because man, that gets I get frustrated with that person. If you keep making that same, I don't want it. Like that's not a fun game anymore.
Yeah.
At a certain level,
Like, hey, yo, do the thing. See, I don't know what we keep doing to keep switching it, but I'll keep messing with it, and you keep talking.
But that's the thing is like it's your job as the teammate to try to help bring your teammate up. Now, at a certain point, you do need to show people that this is holding you down, this is controlling you, that you can do that. Right. That's what I'm trying to say. Like both of those can exist. You can get in trouble for just letting somebody work and not putting them down and holding them in shoulder pressure and like letting them understand, hey, this is what I could do if you don't like chill and like understand the protocol. Or if you are the one that's just smashing on somebody, then you should understand that, okay, this person, they can't stop this. And so as a teammate and good person that's in this same environment, I should try to help them get past it. But if not, then somebody they should ask the coach, the other student, the lower ranked student should ask their coach, hey, what should I do in this situation against so-and-so? And then it's like, well, Isaac keeps smashing you right here. Well, Isaac's a purple belt, man. You've been training for about 3 months and he's got like 30 pounds on you. So it's going to take you a few years to be able to stop him from smashing you. But here's a few things you can work on to probably help slow down.
Bark up a tree. Yeah.
Slow him down for a while, maybe to throw a couple things at him. You know what I mean? And like, that's how it kind of can start. But like, you got to be honest with your person too, and be like, listen, man, you're just not going to be there yet. It's just not time for you yet.
Or you're just getting, and like, that's not like, I guess that means what I'm saying is that, and it also depends too, like if it's me, like if we're talking about me in that scenario, I personally, if I get to the point that I know I can hold you down and smash you and you don't really pose a threat, then I'm either taking that opportunity to teach you something that you're doing wrong because I'm in that position, or advance to something next or crazy that I couldn't try on somebody who knew what was up.
Right.
And just to see, like, I'm experimenting. So like, I have white belts ask me all the time. They're like, there's things that they'll be like, what was it? I don't know. I was just trying something.
I'm just trying
because I know that the repercussions are
exactly. I can recover all, and that's the thing, right? So it's on you. It's on you as the individual every time.
Yeah.
It's always you.
Your training is up to you.
It's always you. And if it's your training partner that's beating you up all the time, ask them before you get mad at them. Like, talk to them before you get mad about it. Try not to get mad that they're doing it to you. They may not even think about it that way. So like you said, they may just honestly be thinking, man, I'm getting good.
I'm killing it.
I'm finally getting it on somebody.
I'm holding them down. Like they're not getting on top.
All right. You know what I mean? And then to this other guy, they may be like, man, I can't get, like, blah, 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 it just kills me. And so it's always on you. And then if you guys come to me, if I'm your coach or whatever, then I may not always be able to side with you or the other you, but I'll start like paying attention.
And just talk to each other.
Yeah, I'll just pay attention and see what's going on in those moments, and I'll watch, and I can say, hey, you guys need to chill out, or no, man, you got to like just frame over here or something, because it's usually something simple.
But if you're just getting stapled down and stuck, like if you're the person on bottom, to me, my response to somebody who comes to me and goes, hey, this guy's just holding me there and smashing me, my response is find a way to get out.
Let's work. Let's work to get out. Right?
Let's figure out how to stop that.
So if you tell me that you're having trouble with that, then I'm going to try to help you understand.
Because both people need to learn a lesson there.
Right. It's on, like, we need that person that's getting smashed to stop getting smashed as much as we need you to be able to smash them. But we need them to get better at not getting smashed, so that you have to get better at smashing them still. So that way, when they get better at not getting smashed, then you have to also level up at your control and your pace and your balance and your weight distribution and your checkpoints. And
in the reference that I'm making too is like, we're talking like drastic differences, like size differences.
Oh yeah.
Like boy and a girl, like there's all kinds of differences.
There's ways
involved in that.
There's ways
like,
you can make that
you can
work.
train it and make it good for both training partners.
Right. If you want to, if there's an understanding there and you guys are not trying to one up each other in a negative, like competitive way, but in like a, we're trying to make each other better, and you understand that. Like, that's what I'm saying, that you're there when Sloan was there. Yeah. Like he says, like we would go to war.
Yeah.
Like we would almost be fighting between rounds without throwing strikes on each other, but almost.
Mhm.
And like we would like try to like hurt each other because we thought that's what it was taking. Like you had to make the other guy so uncomfortable and so just like worn out and ground out. That's the only way you would get the submission. So that's where it came to, right? Because that's where we were in our lives, in our competition careers, and who we were as people. But as white belts, you probably can't do that with each other that same way because somebody's going to get hurt really bad, probably because they're not going to know when to stop at that really late stage.
They don't have control to stop.
Right.
They're just flinging it in the
just
direction.
getting broken, and then like you're like holding out way too long on the wrong things. Like so, like he can be smashing on me, but as long as I know that he's not in a spot that's going to hurt me, then I can take that uncomfortable smashing.
Yeah.
But as soon as it gets to where it's going to hurt me at all, I got to stop right away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the realization is like, I could be in a terrible position, but until I know that it's going to actually like injure me or something, I don't need to worry about it. But as soon as I know it's going to injure me, the next thing I need to do is like tap and get the hell out of there, not try to wait and see what happens next.
Well, and it depends on how good you want to be too. Like there's a little bit of suck that's going to happen. Like you're going to get cross.
You're going to get hurt.
You're going to get cross. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
like,
right. And so are you competing? Is your classmate a competitor? Okay. Well, then we're talking about different stuff too, then.
Right.
You know what I mean? This is the thing that may happen a lot with a person who's more competitive than another. That's probably one of those things that happens where a lot of people
gym type.
Yeah. Well, that's most gyms, right? Most gyms.
Yeah.
Are that way.
Majority, I guess.
And so you got to find each other and talk to each other. And then that's the thing is like, you have to let it start right from the beginning as the coach. You got to say like, hey guys, like we do all the time. Like I tell you guys, talk to each other, make sure you aren't going this hard. You know what I mean? Make sure if they want to go hard, talk to them. Tell them, hey man, I want to like whatever. And if you don't want to go hard with somebody that normally you roll pretty hard with, say, hey man, I'm just trying to like flow today or whatever. I don't really want to do anything hard today, but mean what you're saying. Don't just immediately go in there and try to go like,
and learn that some people can't. Some people don't have that throttle to turn off.
Exactly. And so you only play with certain people when you're in certain moods.
Right.
You know what I mean? And sometimes in a smaller gym, that's hard to do that. And it makes it weird. If you don't want to, and it makes it awkward. Like, cause when I was the biggest guy, sometimes it would make me feel bad that small people wouldn't want to roll me because that was the only person that was left. And I was like, fuck man, I'm not going to hurt you, dude.
Yeah.
I promise. And they're like, nah, man, nah. And it does. It makes me a little bit hurt. And I'm sure that happens to small people sometimes too.
A lot of times too, though, that it's not really reflective on you. I might have rolled with a white belt last week that was your size. And then I look over and I don't know you and I see you and I'm like,
or you do know me and you know what's going to happen today.
That too.
Also,
I see
so
that.
Like, but a lot of times it would be when we were all younger or when I was younger too. And I didn't know enough a lot of times, but even though I was going to purposely not try to hurt you, maybe for this person, they didn't know how to not really feel trapped and hurt so much or whatever. So it's always up to you to talk to me if I'm smashing you, but it's always up to me to know that I'm doing too much when I'm doing too much.
I can also control how hurt I get by how hard I fight. If I don't fight you, you don't hurt me.
You shouldn't.
Right.
Right. I think that's true on both sides.
Right.
That's the thing.
Oh, both sides. Yeah, I guess I haven't thought about it from both directions.
If I don't fight you, then you shouldn't hurt me because I'm kind of conceding what's happening. Yeah. And so you shouldn't just keep trying to hurt me because you should feel the limpness or the
resistance or lack thereof.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or if I'm not trying to fight you with all my might, I'm going to be more loose. And I'll be able to not get broken as much.
So I guess I wonder, like, if you think about it as like, coming back to the, like, as kids, like when I was a kid and when you think back, like, I don't think that they understand the difference of the body, like, attack and like, are they being intense? Are they being, are they trying to attack me? Are they trying to hurt me? Are they trying? So they just go full bore.
Yeah. And I think sorry, what was the first thing you said right there?
The relating what we were just saying and back to the kids of like to the being the intensity you're talking about. Like if I'm being loose, then you should be loose. If I'm being intense, then okay, let's be intense. And so like relating that back to the kids, it can be, the lesson is that like learning that body language. And like I think that's the jujitsu thing. Like
teaching them to communicate, man.
Yeah.
Giving your freaking children a voice to say something.
Everybody can say no.
Let them say that they're hurt and believe that they're hurt, even when you might not think that they are too. I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt and trust you that you're really hurt today, or you really even because they might be scared, and then I can go have that conversation later about that. Is that what was going on? Can you talk to me about that? Is this are you really hurt? Because I saw you were trying to run fast as soon as we said something about a game, but when we're talking about doing competition stuff, you were a little bit. You said you were hurt. So how can that both be true? I'm just curious. Can you explain that to me? And so communication, man, like I said, it's just talking, like giving them giving the ability to tell you what they think and how they feel without it being wrong immediately.
Because I mean, some of these adults are just kids who didn't deal with that in the beginning.
It's
so
right,
like,
it's exactly. They don't know how, and I'm guilty of this too, and not knowing how to put words to the feeling of a situation that doesn't make it worse sometimes, because you don't know exactly how to express that thing early enough. So you wait and then you backtrack to something and then you try to catch it up. And the other person's like, wait, what's happening? And it's like, well, yeah, for like 6 months, you've been kicking my ass, man.
You've just been smashing.
And it's like,
you've just been grinding on my face. And you're like, I've just been doing what coach was telling me to do.
Work, bro. I thought we were working hard, dude. You know what I mean? It's like, no, man. Or like in MMA or whatever. It's like, dude, you've been kicking my legs so hard. Now I have a knot now on my leg I can't get rid of or whatever. Dude, come on, let me slow down with me.
I thought we were getting better.
Yeah, like you're using me as a move and punching bag now, and that's not cool. That's not being a good teammate.
And for some guys, that's their brains. Like some guys are just getting knocked out because they're 205er sparring with a 155er.
Dude, so again with the kids or whatever, like, dude, if they tell me they have like their head hurts or any stuff like that, man, I try to really give them the benefit to like go get some water and maybe dehydration. Or did you get hit in the head? Did you get bumped in the head? Maybe we shouldn't do anything then. Maybe we should chill out. I don't understand enough to say yes or no about going to the doctor, about that kind of stuff. If it's not my child enough, but like you gotta trust to give your children the voice to say, and as an instructor, that's what I'm really like.
Well, and you learn to know the truth.
Trying to do that.
Yeah.
Right. I'm trying to do that with the kids too.
Yeah. Well, and they like the way that they're able to communicate and what they learn from jujitsu and like learn, and that's where I think that it ties into real life.
They can express that.
You can express it now. They never had words or ways to put it, and it's like, well, I was upset and scared because Billy was holding me upside down and smashing me. Okay, well, let's learn how to get out of that position so that you don't feel panicked. Or how do we calm ourselves down and think it through, even though it does suck?
Yeah, no, it's true, man, and that's the thing is some of those experiences, and there's a kid that we have, man, and he's such a good dude, but he wants to get everything right every time. And it's hard when he doesn't get it right. And sometimes I have to sit down with him and I'm like, dude, it's okay, dude. It's okay. You're fine. I'm fine. That move didn't work right today. I'm just trying to give you just chill. It's okay. It's okay. It's cool. It's cool. You didn't, and I've had to really like literally almost like force him to just tell me that that's why he's upset is because he didn't get it right. Because I'm like, dude, if you're hurt, I need to know. Is somebody hurting you in here when you're rolling with them or whatever? Is it pain? Like, are you getting beat up and stuff like that? Because we need to figure out how to make it where you're not going to hurt yourself.
Do we need to work it out, or do we need
to? Just tell me what it is, so then I'll know how to help you better with it. And that's as a child, I'm sure that'll be super powerful for him when he grows up. Hopefully, one day, if he can continue using that, and just tell people, right? Just say it, and even if it doesn't work or whatever, then you'll know, like, hopefully, what you can do from there, And we're trying to, and I'm trying to let them know that, and do that. I do that with our kids, with my personal kids too, my own kids, but trying to do that with the kids. Try to do that with the adults program too. Try to let everybody like say what they need to say, and then like give it, like I said, I think we talked about that a few weeks ago too, and give it time to like rattle around and digest a little bit, and then give a response or not later on after the fact to see what's best for that person or the situation or whatever. And for learning, like as a teacher, they got to trust you first. If they're gonna take things, your advice or your techniques or your skills or whatever from you, they got to at least trust you, right? No matter what. Because if they don't trust what you're saying to them, or if they don't trust what you're doing, then why are, you know what I mean? Why would you even, they're not going to be with you then even, you know what I mean? So that's the thing, is like, you're going to lose them at the very least as a student, even if they stay there for a little bit longer. If they don't believe in you, it's done. If they can't trust what, you know, the communication between you when you say, hey, it's okay to just say what you need to say. And if they say something that hurts your feelings a little bit, you freak out on them. It's like, oh man, that's not what you said, you know, and that's kids and adults, but kids for sure will they'll immediately shut you down.
They'll go,
they'll
well,
know.
you said,
Yeah, they'll know them. Yeah, no. And so that's why I really want to try to always make sure, I try to make sure with everybody, but I'm definitely, now that I'm really in there with some of these kids and have been day to day for a while, I really want to make sure they know that they've got like somebody that's got their back. You know, like we talked about that, like being an advocate for them if I need to, in whatever way. Sometimes that's telling you, hey man, you are blowing it.
Yeah.
You suck this week. Like, what's going on? What's happening with you? Why are you doing this now? And there could be a reason for that, you know. And it's like, oh, okay. Well, okay, cool. Well, we'll just kind of let this be for a little bit right here and let you get past whatever said thing is, maybe injury wise, home, school. You've been doing stuff at school or whatever, too much schoolwork or something, or your job's working out of town, so that's why you haven't been able to be here but once a week instead of 4 times a week or whatever. It's like, okay, cool. Then you got to understand that. And so then that's, again, it's just like opening the door for both people to just talk to each other.
Two-way communication.
Just talking to each other. Yeah, like I saw that's what your mom said in the comments. Just say it. And then sometimes it's just gonna be what it is, you know. But once you've talked through it, then you understand the other person. Hopefully, if you can communicate honestly without needing to be shady about something, right? And I think a lot of people are uncomfortable with somebody that's just trying to be direct with them, and especially when you're being challenged. Like if you're the one that's being direct with somebody and you think you're right and you know you're right, then it's easy. But then when somebody's like coming at you and you may be wrong, a lot of times that's when I'll bluster up or whatever a little bit and be like, wait, I can't be wrong, you know, or whatever.
Even when I'm the opposite. Even when I know I'm right, it's hard for me. Like that whole like thing, like Jiu Jitsu helped me with that type of confrontation. Like I even when I'm not even doing it, when I'm trying to have an interaction with a bank teller, I'm not a big fan of it. Like that's like, for me, it's been able to give communication and give like context to things for people. And that's just, I don't even really know how to put that into words, how that happens. And it's interesting to me for like a kid to get a hold of that when they're like, 10.
Yeah,
it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it would be nice to have had that when I was younger and have already worked out a lot of those processes much more, you know, with somebody that had thought all that kind of things through a little bit. But yeah, but that's what I'm saying, is that it's not all, and that's what I mean, is like not necessarily about being right or wrong.
No, it's just like, the engagement,
but just talking to somebody when you feel confident, I guess is what I'm saying. Not like about like if you even talking to your bank teller, if you're confident about what you're talking to them about, you feel better going directly towards that, right? And so if you feel uncomfortable coming to this person because you can't communicate about what they're saying, it's that's weird, right? Yeah. So on a jiu-jitsu level, you can get that. Like we're talking about whatever, the gut wrench stuff or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's like some people won't even have any reference for that, but we at least have some reference together that we can talk about it with. So, you know, same thing with emotional and then like in conversational stuff. If they can't put fear or excitement or anger or whatever into terms, it's hard to understand which one is which, maybe based on expression. Because some people express things outwardly very differently than what they're feeling inwardly. And so giving them the opportunity to hopefully that they can express whatever this is to you so you can understand what the mask, for lack of a better word, may be in certain situations for people, you know. And it's not that they purposely look a certain way, but it's just like, it's how they interface with the world. Sad can be angry or crying at the same time. Right. That's what I'm saying. Two different people, same emotion. Same thing, right? Excitement, same thing, right? You could be crying with excitement, or you could just be giddy and like excited. You know what I mean? They could just be overwhelming. And so if you get overwhelmed, that's how it is, you know? And so learning how to deal with being overwhelmed. How long have we been talking about?
We've been at it for about 40 minutes.
We're supposed to talk about ADCC trials.
Yeah, we can go to ACC.
All right. I've been thinking about a way to segue it, and you said something a little bit earlier about something. And I was like, oh, I can have a segue, but I forgot now.
Well, let's talk about ADCC.
Let's talk about the trials. It was crazy.
There were 800 people on the registration, but not everybody showed up from what I understood.
Yeah, some people had to pull out. I know a couple people that had a couple situations where they weren't able to make it based on like late injuries or weight issues because they signed up way too early for their own weight class and then didn't change it in time or something. Some people got other gigs, I guess, sort of you say for the same weekend or whatever, or something coming up right after that will probably be a better opportunity maybe. So they ended up not showing up and stuff like that. Yeah, there could be a bunch of reasons why that could happen, I guess. And some people just probably decided, no, I don't want to go in there and go against those people once they realized how deep it was going to get. Because that happens, man. You see it at MMA fights and stuff like that a ton, right? The guy will come all the way to weigh-ins, he'll do the weigh-ins and everything, and then he'll just no-show the fight.
Yeah.
So I've seen people leave. I've seen people leave after rules meeting, just like walk off and be gone. They're like, "Where is he at?" He's like,
I guess he decided he
he's
didn't
just
want
gone.
it.
He's just gone. You know, it's like what? So I mean, it just happens, right? Competitions. It gets in your head. It's a different monster when you got to go out there and compete. But the trials was nuts, man. Trials were nuts.
Yeah, they were. They were really good. I was sitting here trying to pull up the results. Looks like ADCC official results aren't up yet.
Oh man, they're all over Flow Grappling and stuff.
That's what I was looking for.
I think for the ladies, the under 60 kilograms was Brianne St. Marie. She took that one, and dude, she's been winning like everything she's entered lately. Combat Jiu Jitsu, Nogi Worlds, you know, everything here. The trials, just, you know, winning her way through that. The ladies over 60 was Kendall Roosing. I think she was a lot of people's favorite going into that one as well, based on the people that were bracketed out. It was cool to see that they had some seeds in there that they listed on the way out for some people also, because it was the way the bracket kind of fell. So yeah, I was really excited to see her because I've known her for a long time, and to know like that she's from a grappling family. You know, her dad's the person who promoted me through brown belt before I switched over to 10th Planet. So I've known them for a long time. So it was really cool to see somebody that was a kid that grew up on the mats, kind of around the mats. She came back to it after a while of wrestling and like moving away from it, and now winning this opportunity to get to ADCCs. You know, that's huge, man. That's a big opportunity for her. So that was really exciting to see. The men's plus 99 was
that
Hansen,
the way
John Hansen?
Was that the weight class where somebody got suplexed a bunch of times?
No, that was Cody Steele that suplexed that dude a bunch of times. I think that was the minus 66.
Okay.
No, that was minus 77.
Okay, I knew that they were mid-range big guys. They weren't tiny.
Not the smaller bracket. Yeah. He ended up taking third. Cody Steele did in that bracket. But the plus 99 guys is the same guy that won the last West Coast trials, Hansen. So he's not, I guess he's a defending trials champion, but not the East Coast. He won the last West Coast one pre COVID times, I guess, when the world was then.
That was it's been a while.
Three or so years ago. I did that one too. That's how long ago it's been. That was the last one I did. He ended up winning that bracket. There's some really tough guys in there. One of the purple belts from 10th Planet San Diego, Alex Grandy, got all the way to the final four. He was the D1 wrestler also. I remember when he was a blue belt out there, you know, he was a lot easier to roll with and stuff. But when we went out there to visit for Mandy's birthday, man, he was like on a new level. So I was like, man, he's going to be tough. So he won Nogi Worlds at purple belt and then got to the final four at ADCC trials. So, you know, props to him for obviously putting in the work to get to that level out there. Minus 99. That was Mason Fowler, right? Yeah, I think Mason Fowler took that one. I can't remember who was in the finals.
I'm at the over 99.
Oh, no, minus 99. Okay, was that?
I'm having to go to a bunch of different websites to find the results.
I wish I would have written all my things down now, huh?
Yeah, I was thinking that it was going to
So
be
88 was Bundini. Hansen was 99. Yeah, okay. So he went against Devontae.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's what's up. He beat Devontae Johnson in OT. I've actually competed against Devontae at Nuggie Worlds or whatever. So he's really skilled at the point scoring style of grappling and stuff like that, knowing how to score and how not to get scored on. So Mason obviously did a great job to be able to go in there and get an overtime win against him in the style. And I guess that's something to comment on too once we get through there. But it was definitely a wrestler based kind of event, a lot more than you would see in other stuff. A lot of wrestling in ADCC to get to the end of it. I think the guy Bodini, is that how you would pronounce it? I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he's the guy that's with Gordon Ryan, and then he was in a recent CJJ or something like that. He was in some bigger tournament I can't remember now, and did okay. That was the first time I'd heard about him. The guy, the 88.
88. Okay.
Yeah. The other way, I think.
Sorry, the other website I'm on is the other.
Giancarlo. Yeah, right there. New Wave. Yeah, it's 88 against Elder Cruz. So yeah, the 88 was one that didn't really have a ton of guys that were going to be at the top of the level that made it through to the final. Bodini coming from Gordon and I guess Donaher's team, put one of them into the ADCC through winning the trials. So that's cool. I'm going to have to study both of those guys a little bit to see a little bit more about their styles, because getting through any of these brackets was really, really cool. And then obviously
because that's what crew is. So you're in 88 still is what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Because that's what at the end it was the semifinals was Cruz versus Salter.
Yeah. And then
Bodini versus Couch, right? No, wait. Bodini submitted Couch again. All right, you're ahead of me on that. All right, now I've caught up to where you're at.
Yes, that's right. And so, boom, right there. So G took out Jacob Couch, right?
Got you.
So that's a big, at least right now he's been on fire. Couch has. So getting the win versus him, putting him out, that was like I guess one of the bigger names coming into the bracket. And then obviously the last two, the lower two men's brackets were the ones that had the most excitement, I guess I would say, around them. The deepest brackets. K Rotolo took the win in that one. And man, this was interesting, right? That where the rules really, really matter a lot, and how you score and don't score really matters a lot. Like there were some 10th planet guys that had really good days too. So just along the way, but sometimes I think things that look like it could be a scoring position in a lot of places would not qualify for scoring at ADCC trials based on the way that the rules are specifically written.
What's like a specific example?
To secure a pass,
yeah,
you have to do it for like the 3 seconds, and then 75% of their back has to be on the mat for that time.
So that's the ticket. Is so like 75% of the back.
If you can't put most,
got to be a pin.
Most of a pin, yep, all the way down to, and it has to be for the 3 seconds for that to fully count.
So the pin has to be for 3 seconds. You have to have for that 3 seconds.
75% from based on the interpretation that it came down to some people after matches that we and myself was that me?
Yeah, that's you.
Man, my stuff ain't even supposed to ring like that. Chase, leave me alone, Chase. My phone never makes sounds. What happened? That was weird. Like it doesn't even ring when I'm not doing a show.
Broke into the metaverse.
Jesus, what was I talking about? Oh, so yeah. So there's a couple matches where I was watching people that I'm friends with or whatever, in the system and out, where I was like, oh, that should have been points or whatever. But then later on, after that explanation came down, because I think Sam Barbosa should have won his last match.
Was that what he was mad about when he got up and was arguing?
That he thought he had points.
Was
that he didn't get the guy pinned for the 75% of the thing is what is my understanding of what they told him, or what they're saying is the explanation for that. And then that explained away, I think, some of the reason why PJ didn't get the pass on K Rotolo and regulation, or some, stuff like that. And that match was kind of interesting too, because they gave Cade a takedown, I think, and they were kind of scrambling. And then PJ ended up on top after being in a guarded position, but then he didn't get a sweep for being on top.
So what's weird about the sweep? I heard a couple people complaining about it, but I never heard an explanation.
I think it's the same thing. I think you've got to kind of hold them down. I don't know if that was the 75% rule.
So you have to sweep them and put them there.
Stabilize the position. So I don't know if they scrambled too much, but PJ, he said after the explanation he got, he was happy with what they told him based on the rules. Yeah. He was like, yeah, okay. So that's the thing is, like, I guess going out to these certain kinds of tournaments and stuff, you've got to really, really hone in your strategies on the things that are going to score and not score. Because sometimes something that's not really that big of a deal could cost you points and then you're behind. But
does it seem like in this one, because I think that the complaint in the community for the most part is that people aren't, in most other scenarios, people aren't, they have a rule, but then they change. It's variable on what it is. Has it been seemed pretty consistent of like, nope, 75%, that's in the rule book and everybody kind of gets it?
I think that's the first time I've heard that, but I don't know if this is the first time that it really became such a huge deal to me personally, to really look into
inside
what answers
your world.
were.
Okay. Yeah.
There's been times where there was questionable stuff that wasn't explained away, and it was just like, well, that's BS or whatever kind of stuff. But there's questionable resets. There's all kind of stuff like that where some would benefit the other person. But how do you do a good
I don't think
reset?
you fix that until
you do a good reset?
Go fight in a internal universe that has no, because I mean, you look at it in the PGF, they've got how many thousands of square feet and
3,
just 2 people going.
Yeah. And we went off the edge.
Everybody went off the edge every time.
So the more space you have, the more space you can take.
Yeah. So I don't think you fix that.
Yeah. It's like, that's why some events like a small cage, because it forces the action. If they're going to make you fight, they put you in a small pen.
Yeah.
You can't run.
Yeah.
So
there are no tables. There is no.
Yeah, edge. but PJ Bartz did amazing. He went all the way down to the Final Four. He ended up losing another razor close match to Cody Steele in the 3rd, 4th place match. And so Cody Steele, the guy that got all the slams, none of those scored until he took the guys back.
Oh, those weren't. Oh, I guess
they don't
by
score.
Those rule sets, there's no
not take down.
Score
yeah, he didn't hold him down long enough. The guy stood back up. He didn't put hooks in. He didn't get him on his back.
Huh.
So that's why.
So being active, and so that's what you're saying is like the wrestle scrambler mindset. It pays off.
It definitely does.
Because
he just slammed the guy a bunch of times and then put the hooks in one time and got the win.
Yeah,
but that takes a ton of energy and
what if dude had another answer when he finally got around?
He really couldn't though. So it was really amazing to see that. But yeah, him and PJ, like they had that was basically a wrestling match too. They wrestled for the whole regulation almost, and then the overtime, and he got the decision because I think he just had more activity in the overtime period, and that's how they score overtime only. They don't score regulation and overtime. When you go to the overtime, they only score it on the whatever time that was in the overtime. So if you get any points in overtime, then none of the points you had in regulation matter as a tie, So, and then if it's 0-0, and then it's who the judges think pushed the rules, the action, or
So then it's just opted to whoever was creating the most action and had control over the action.
Who looked like they were winning, I guess, based on. I have to study the rules. I say I need to go back and study the ADCC rules a little bit better to make sure that I even understand some of the nuance on some of that stuff. So, Rotolo got through. They're like showing they're like top of the top food chain in almost every style that they're doing right now. No gi, at least I don't think they're doing any gi stuff. So yeah, so props to them. And then, dude, freaking heartbreaker in the 66. I had a lot of buddies in the 66 division. But like Keith Krikorian, man, my buddy, love you, dude, if you watch this stuff, but like took second again in the trials, third time in a row. He's done
always
this.
The bridesmaid, I guess.
Man, and had a really phenomenal performance. Submitted Gianni Grippo in regulation.
I saw that.
Amazing. And then I was like, man, maybe that means it's his time. But then, dude, here's this phenom, Cole Abate, 16-year-old blue belt that's been training since he could walk or whatever, right? And so that's what I'm saying. You get a kid and you can figure out how to dial in with them. And if they really want to and get into it, by 16,
they can be world class.
They could literally be world class if you two or all of you can get together and make it work. You know what I mean? And dude, unfortunately, he just had a better game than Keith did on.
How did he win?
Sunday.
I didn't see
his
that
points.
One. Okay, so points.
Tough, you know. And that's the thing. Once you get late in a match and somebody has some points, a lot of times they can start getting a lot more points if you're really, really, really trying to win and you're not just trying to not lose.
First 3, there's no points, and then the final 3, there are
right.
points. So if they start scoring in that final 3, that's a short time to start making up
any comeback, you know. And so sometimes you just start doing things to try to get any action going, and they can score again. And you know, it ends up being, you know, a bigger score than maybe the match was in closeness, reality wise. So, you know, props to Cole. He put it down, but Keith, man, he's gonna be around for a long time, dude.
I really enjoyed his seminar when he was here.
He's working hard, obviously.
Or class, I guess it was more of a class.
Yeah, it was kind of a class, I guess, or whatever. But still, it was fun having him around. We're gonna try to maybe bring him back up one day soon if he's still over in the area. Why not? But yeah, but all in all, man, there were some really great performances from a lot of people. Like I said, a lot of people made their come up or whatever, and a lot of people ended up kind of stumbling a little bit.
The Southeastern 10th Planet guys had pretty good runs.
A lot of guys made it to the final, like 16 or right before making it to the second day and stuff like that. Chase Hannah ended up losing on points, basically like kind of like similar situation. Ended up giving up some points at one situation and then started like really having to like try to hunt for something or whatever and couldn't get the connection back on the guy to get anything going. Not
because if somebody decides they're not going to play a game with you,
then, the guy was just not interested in doing anything with Chase, especially when
except for retaining his points.
When he got his points, you know. And so that's just one of those things. Like, and you're in that rule set, and you know that's
part of the game.
It just is what it is, man, and that's unfortunate. And so I'm sure he's going to go back and regroup and put the work in to try to tighten up some of those gaps.
In the 10th Planet guys that you saw have the gaps, do you think the wrestling gap is probably what everybody's going to be trying to fill?
I think there's a lot of people that are really good wrestlers in the system now. That are covering the gap.
Kind of the
ones that want to, you know, the ones that want to wrestle. Like Keith, for example, can wrestle when he wants to. PJ can wrestle when he wants to. I think Alan Sanchez can wrestle decently when he wants to. You know, he made it pretty far too. Into he lost to PJ.
Okay.
PJ is the one that had to put him out. They put a lot of the 10th Planet guys on the same side, or all of them. That way you can't bow out at the finals,
to each other,
and stuff like that. To make it matter. You know what I mean?
I respect that.
You know, so yeah, and then like Ryan Aiken, Combat Jiu Jitsu World's champion. He went to the final 8, I think, right? In his weight category, and then I think he ended up losing on points too, right?
I didn't see the match, but I saw his after post, and from what I read in his after post, it seemed like he was same situation, like you said. He got into a behind situation and started doing dumb stuff.
That's what I'm trying to say. I can't remember at this point exactly. There were so many matches that
he was like, I got desperate and started not listening to my coach or whatever, and so it was like, and just trying to dive for stuff. So I didn't see the match, but it sounded like it was similar to what you said, where it kind of fell apart.
Dude, it was hard to keep up. There were so many matches at one time, and everybody like I was trying to watch this guy and this guy. So yeah, and then. Like Keith Krikorian, he put out one of the up and coming like purple belt guys, Jacob Norton from Austin. You know, so a lot of 10-on-10 crime in those brackets. Gabe ended up losing to a dude that I hadn't quite heard of at that time, but had some really, really sharp like guard passing stuff. So he won 3 matches, I think, in that bracket, 2 or 3. And then, you know what I mean? So that's the thing is like in some of those lower categories, you could still win 3 matches and not even get anywhere based on the way the outcome
and
looks.
In past years, that could have got you all the way through to the finals.
To the final in some brackets for sure.
I thought that this was going to be interesting, and I think it kind of did prove to do this. Of like some of your big name guys had hard days because even though the guy you went against in your first round or your second round may not have been like a top 5 guy, but he was tough guy.
He was there.
He was.
He wanted to win just as bad as you did, and so unless you were just able to put him down, you had.
I didn't see very many of those just
There
like
was a
one shot,
live
one
fight.
kills.
Yeah, it was a live fight for most people.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm saying. The level has really went up for a lot of people. So man, the West Coast trials are going to be fire, for sure, for sure. Who were some other guys that made it through? Sam did really good, man. Like I said, I think he did really great. And honestly, not to take away because it's his style, and he's finished a lot of people with that like front head kind of stuff. But literally, the difference was maybe knowing that he could have just like switched from that to a side control pin, and that would have won the regulation.
The room I was watching it in, that was the conversation of like, just switch off.
Yeah, super. Like, and it's just like, but it works so much usually. But then that's the conversation that we have about some stuff a lot of times. It's like, man, yes, but not always.
Not right now.
Sometimes you can stabilize that best position. But when you know you can kill people with that move, right?
We've all been on top and been like, ooh, there's the thing.
No, yes, no. And then like, and then at the end of it, it just didn't work out for him in the end of the day with that. So that was a bummer. Manning from Jacksonville, I think he won a match or two.
Oh, I didn't even know he competed.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Same big 66 bracket. With the 250 something people in it. Good God. Who else?
Can't say they didn't get their money's worth when they showed up for a tournament, though.
No, for sure. Everybody got a chance to throw down if they wanted to.
Is there any qualification for the trials?
Not for the trials.
You
no,
can just
that's
show
the
up
thing. Yeah,
run.
anybody can show up. Yeah. Isaac Cordova made a strong run for the 10th Planet team. That was really cool. I'm not as familiar with him overall, but I'm gonna definitely start looking at him more now. Seeing as he made it that far into some of these brackets, it's like, oh, that's nice, man. Nice stuff. Who else? I mentioned Alex Sanchez. And Alex Grandy, the guy from San Diego.
Yeah, you mentioned him. Yeah.
Man, he's really like super impressive. Like, that's what I say. Seeing the people do stuff is really like fun. Like, it's kind of. And we were watching the Keith versus Gianni Grippo match at the gym right after training or after open mat, I think. Yeah, and it's just like he submitted him. I was just like screaming, and somebody was like, "Dang, coach, you really into that?" I was like, "Man, that's my friend." Like, he just like submitted the number one guy in the division in the world right now. Yeah, it's like my actual buddy that was here like a month or so ago or whatever. It's like it's weird, but it's really cool to see that kind of stuff and be able to really like be a part of it, in a way, right? And have had some small like part of help training with these guys in the past, or and stuff like that. It's kind of cool.
Well, it goes back to what we were talking about as like a kid. It's like I could only imagine what my like personal relationships would be if I had met people in jiu-jitsu when I was a kid. Like, because it's just such a different type of connection that you have. It's like somebody you trained with one time. You see them compete on like a world stage like that. You're like, oh, I know that guy.
That's the homie. Yeah, for sure, man. So it's cool, man. And there's, like I said, a lot of people did good. A lot of people fell short of their own personal goals, but that's the way it is. Of the 800 people that showed up, only one person in each category went away the winner, and for everybody else, second place wasn't good enough. Probably they were probably okay with it once they got away, but I bet for everybody that made it to the finals, second place wasn't good enough anymore. I bet before they got there, some of them, if you told them they would get second, they were like, oh, that would be okay.
I'd be happy.
But I bet now they're like, man, nah, that's not even close to good enough anymore. I'm super mad now.
Yeah.
And I've been there. I've been there before too, where that makes you want it, getting beat even when you're doing really well and you're in your zone and you feel good. That's the times that you really get to figure out the next thing about yourself. Right?
As a competitor.
Yeah. It's okay to lose. And like when you're sick or tired or blah, 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 injured or blah, 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 you give yourself those outs or whatever. But on the days you lose, when you've not given yourself an out, right? That's when that's when you find out a lot about yourself and who you are as a human. So
I think that's the difference in the like people that are the world champions too. Like when you hear the like Michael Jordan's talk, they don't have an out. They don't give it out.
There is no other. Out. Yeah, it's just gonna go back and
I have 102 fever. I still win.
Yeah. Got to.
Yeah.
And then if you don't, then you got to come back and do it the next time.
But is that a dangerous place to be? I don't want to go down another wormhole.
It can be.
But like that can be a dangerous place personally.
It can be.
Yeah.
It can be, right? You can go too far, right, down that path. And then certain times you could not get the goal that you want, right? Even though you are
on your best day, it still couldn't be your day.
Because every time whoever that person is may change. Whoever the top person is by the time you get to the next level or whatever, so has everybody else,
Mm.
unfortunately. You know, and now they're all just getting younger, dude. They're all just getting younger. There's like William Tackett. Those guys are all young. They've been trained since they were kids.
You know, lost to a 16-year-old.
Rotolo's 18. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The Rotolos are 18 or whatever. He's 16. So like it's just that the Kendall Rooston's been training grappling since she was a child. So it's like it's not the jiu-jitsu that people used to do back in the day. You can't just come out there and just roll around and be good. It's like it's a whole thing now.
Because this kid's had a system since he was 12.
Right. And he's been with good coaches the whole time.
Yeah.
Right. And for him, he had been. That Kobate's been with Art of Jiu-Jitsu the entire time. You know,
Wow. Yeah.
He speaks Portuguese because he's been training with the Mendes brothers the entire time, and because he wanted to understand everything that everybody was saying
all the way to
he
an
was young
intricate
enough
level.
and into it enough, had the parents that supported it enough that it went down that way. So, you know, kudos to him and them and everybody that won. Something I was never able to accomplish through a couple of attempts that I thought were pretty strong. So I understand the challenge and how hard it is and what it feels like to not get it, you know. So you know.
But what did you walk away from with it? Like you walked away because like people say that like you win, you learn all that, but like the journey that you took to go to ADCC trials and those, so like the identity that you have here is different than what I have because I've never been to ADCC trials. So like, what did you walk away with that was the lesson?
Man, the first one was that I could actually kind of compete at that level.
Yeah, you could hold a candle.
The first one, I was like, all right, if I really commit, I could probably do it better. Maybe I could actually win. I think I might, maybe. You know, it's like, maybe. You know, the first time I was like, I'm just going to go out here and see what happens. I've never competed jiu-jitsu at this level where it's just like whoever shows up could be anyone that's in the weight class.
Could be the world-class guy.
It's going to be. It's supposed to be.
That's who's here.
Yeah.
They're trying to see who the best one of them is.
That's why they're here.
Yeah.
You
They're
know,
just letting me pay my money to come in here. Yeah.
And so the first time I went, I lost to a guy that ended up getting second that year, Jessray Childry.
Okay.
You know, not a slouch, right?
So that's where you can throw your stick down and go, okay, he got second.
Yeah, but just not even that, but just knowing who he was in general.
Okay.
Like, he's a tough competitor. He wasn't as known yet, but he was already known on the competition scene for a long time. And yeah, he had a good strong game. And I didn't have one yet that was going to complement what I needed to do to beat somebody like that. But I did hit a sweet rolling like calf lock from the truck on this dude that was very badly put together, but worked in the moment because he had no clue what I was doing.
Right.
And it was really out of desperation because I done tried to work as hard as I could. I done took him down, had him down, tried to choke him, couldn't choke him. He was too big, muscularly, whatever. Arms were too strong to like crank on because I tried to like Jamie kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I was just trying to wear him out. And then I realized with just like a little bit of time left, it's like, oh crap, I'm wearing myself out. And if we go to overtime, I got to take this fool down.
Yeah. And that's the only way I can win now.
Yeah. And I was on his back. I was like, I think I saw somebody do this once. So I just rolled for it and caught it. And that's when I was talking about, I posted talking about, oh, hit a vaporizer or whatever. And then Eddie saw and told Boogie, like, that's not a vaporizer. Tell you to change that stuff. I was like, whoops. Words matter, kids. So, but for me, that was a great experience. So like it gave me the confidence to shortly from that, after a couple of after another thing or so happened, to retire from MMA and focus solely on jiu-jitsu. And then the second time I went out, my first opponent didn't show up for whatever reason, man. We knew each other, and I thought I was going to be able to win the match pretty handily. So I was a little frustrated that he didn't come because I wanted to get
to get the win.
I needed to get the round of work.
That too.
I wanted to get warm and get a round.
In your mind, that was the strategy.
He was going to go
warm.
hard. I knew he was going to go really hard, and it wasn't going to be easy, you know. But I thought
your warm up, your round.
I thought I would win though. You know, I was like, he's going to be live. He's going to make it hard for me a little bit, right? But I should be able to get to the spots I need without giving away too much and get the win. And then from there, you know, sky's the limit. Well, he didn't come, and so then the winner of our match was going to go against the defending West Coast Trials champion and ADCC veteran, Casey Hellenberg. Well, so I had him my first match after a cold start, basically. And
Where you
sat
thought
there.
you were about to ramp up, he
I-
didn't show up.
Yeah,
and then you're like,
all
okay.
day I was
Yeah.
kind of waiting on him to show up, and he never kind of did until I found out way later.
And they're like, well, now you're gonna go against this guy. Yeah.
And then that changed my strategy because like I was already gonna have one in, and I was like, then I'll have a better feel for the room and everything that's going on around.
Break it
me.
off, like the
Like, just
nerves.
kinda- exactly. The sounds, the smells of everything or whatever. Getting that first win in is huge, man. And so then going against Casey, man, again, the rules matter, dude. Half of the time going for points and half of the time not going for points. There's nothing wrong with that. I just am not used to it. So, and not even, and this is the weird part about it. How do you do that in a way that works every time? Because I got a nice, like, I pulled guard and he landed into a butterfly sweep. But it was at 3 minutes and 40 seconds. So there was no takedown or no sweep, no nothing, no guard pass.
40 more seconds.
Yeah. And then we scrambled off the mat after a second. And during the restart or during the off the mat part, I kind of stopped before the referee got over there to solidify. And he re-solidified on me. And I was like, crap. Because it wasn't, it's not like he did it wrong either. You know what I mean? Like we were still going, but I was trying to be gentlemanly in my mind was like, all right, we're off the mat. And I just kind of let up and he didn't.
Yep.
And so then when we restarted, he almost had the hooks on my back.
Yeah.
And so then I tried to in my mind, I thought I did this a lot faster, but I tried to bump him off and turn. But all I did was kind of pop my butt up. And it gave him the space to
further hooks. Yeah.
And so
just solidified the position.
And then he got the points and he won off of that, even though I scrapped back up and got to my feet and tried to get him back down again. By the end of it, couldn't do it. He's better at that game. Knew how to win.
Well, 3 minutes is a short time to do
and
anything.
he knew how to win the points game.
Yeah.
He knew I didn't get this back. Because I had him down after I took him down for a while. That's what I'm saying. I kept trying to get to the scoring positions. He kept turtling. I couldn't get the hooks. I kept trying to pull him over so I could get to mount. I kept trying blah, blah, blah. And then we ended over off the mat. And I fell off going for something. And so that's why it's like, man, sometimes you don't want to just go for stuff because you're just going to fall off at the worst time then.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons I harp on you guys sometimes about just dude, just stay there. Make them make that mistake, not you yet. Because sometimes your best intentions and what you feel and everything, you're going to end up in a pile of popcorn.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
With a bowl of acai on your head.
Both literally and figuratively. So, so that was my second experience with it, man. And it was like, all right, dude, I was still a brown belt. I think I'd already just got my black belt, actually. Yeah, I had just got my black belt not long before that. So it was my first time going out and competing, as a black belt representing the team, so it was nice to go out there and do well, right? I did some good stuff, but I didn't win. So I was super disappointed, but I was happy that I was able to pull off some moves, in the thing and didn't just get blown up because there were some guys that got blown up, some people just go out there and get wrecked. And so, going out there and competing with the guys there and then other places, I just kind of know, it's really about the rule set and it's really who's better at the rule sets a lot of times.
On that day,
most of the time, if you're going to compete, I love the thing that Jake Elkins says a lot of times. It's like, yeah, but it's not a knowledge contest when you go out there, right? It's not who knows the most. You know what I mean? So I can know a lot more jiu-jitsu than you, but you come out there and hit me with your 3 moves, and I can't stop it.
You can't stop move one. It doesn't matter that I got 27 moves.
It don't matter what I know if we're out here competing. Now,
Yeah.
if you come to my classroom, I can out-know you. You know what I'm saying? But if you want to just start wrestling, some people are going to just out-wrestle me because they're just going to be more physical than I am. But I could probably help them be better too if they would slow down and listen, because I do probably know more than some people. It's just that weird thing. So yeah, it was nice to go out there and feel that level of competition and know where you stack up, right? And understand what's real and what's not real, right?
There's levels to it, yeah.
How it actually works, and not just say, this is how it works, because you go out there and it doesn't work that way. You have to understand that. Then you have to agree that it doesn't always work that way when it doesn't always work that way.
Yeah.
And the more times you go out there, it's like that old thing you would hear about fighting. If you fight enough times, somebody's going to kick your ass.
Yeah.
That's just it. If you do it enough, somebody's going to beat you. And that's the same thing in jiu-jitsu and everywhere else, right? Everything else. If you keep just doing the same stuff over and over, somebody's going to beat you at it. So the more you go out, the more you run your game, the better you get, the more feedback you can get. Some people don't want to do it. Some people aren't built for it physically. Some people can't handle it mentally. And it's not for them. That's why there's champions. And that's why it's such a glorious thing to do when you get to that level, right? That's why I respect people that can do it so much, because it's been a hard thing for me to do consistently, to put together those wins back to back to back. When you get 3, hard to get 4 on the same day. You know what I mean? Just consistently. Just, I don't know what the case was. Just always kind of felt that way for me. You know, even when I felt good going into the last match a lot of times. But there was the days that I did go through and just wreck shop. And it was like, okay, how do I capture this? What did I do today? All right, I'm going to wake up. I'm going to have 16 ounces of water like I did. I'm going to have a cup of coffee, 1 banana.
Left sock first, right sock second.
Of peanut butter. You can't come. It's like, you do not come today because you did not come last time. You know what I mean? It's just like, that's how you'll get though, right? You gotta catch that when it's there. And how? It's hard, and you just got to do it enough times that you know what it is, you know, and that's it. So yeah, that's the world. Jiu-jitsu and competition are different, but there is jiu-jitsu competition. You know, that's the realest shit you ever wrote.
Cool. Dropping the show Friday.
Oh, that's another thing that's going down. Isaac has been working super hard putting together all the content from Costa Rica at the Dream No Gi Camp. And the show around that's going to drop this Friday on my YouTube at what time? Sometime Friday. So you need to stay tuned. We're doing that on purpose, just so you have to pay extra attention to what we're doing.
That and the seminars from that will end up on your Kajabi, and that's
seminars on that. Yeah. Yes. And then that'll be a way to like help get some money to the instructors and to the film crews and stuff like that, and keeping you guys informed on what was going on, so you don't forget all that good stuffs. What else? That's it.
That's all you have big going on. Dropping. Holidays are coming in. You got people.
Holidays are coming in. I'm purposely kind of slowing down right now with the extra stuff, because we did a crap ton of work at the middle end of this year, or leading from the beginning to middle of this year, starting from the PGF out to ending in the Costa Rica trip. Dude, it was just a lot of work. So mentally, I'm like not trying to take on any.
Well, January, the PGF is firing off again.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm trying to give myself the time to do all the things that I need to do other than this. And, you know, we've talked about that with yourself as well, trying to cut back on any of the extra stuff that doesn't have to be done. That's just kind of like a loose end, try to tie that out or whatever. So yeah, man. So just taking my time right now outside of that. So I guess that's why there's not really much announcements, but we are going to be hyped up about, I'm going to be hyped up about seeing this stuff, because obviously being there, I only saw it from my perspective. So I don't know what it looked like everywhere else all the rest of the time.
There's a story there.
Yeah, I bet there's like 50 million of them that you could go with or whatever in the right times and situations. There was a lot of cool people there, a lot of good training, beautiful environment. If you're interested in that, man, like honestly, we've sold already like 15, I think, of the spaces. We have a Shopify up where 10 spaces are available right now for $500. We've got 2 of the coaches for sure that are set up, that are going to be with us. Kind of like wanting to hold off on announcing who they are
hold them off
until we sell those 10 spaces for the discounted rate, you know, kind of at the 500, because after that it's going to go up to the 600, and then there'll only be like 10 or 15 of those available. Because I think this year I want to bring 4 instructors instead of just having the 3 like we did last time.
We have 1 each day
to make it more spread out and give another perspective, because it's just fun, man, to be able to do that and have another person down there. So yeah, we've got 2 really, really, really dope black belts that are committed, that are both competitors, that both, you know, would bring their own level of like clout and fandom to the event. And then we've got another one that is mostly confirmed, but has had a baby within the last week or two. So it's kind of hard to commit to
See how that sorts out. Yeah.
It's
yeah.
hard to commit
First
to
year
that
is
one.
kind of
right. Yeah, it's like I would love to, and you just let me know as early as you can, yes
Yeah.
or no, and
Yeah.
we won't announce that until
that'll be dope.
that'll be like the big surprise thing, I guess, at the end of it if we need to on that one. So
Dope.
yeah, much love everybody on that stuff. Musgrove Chaw Firm 678-226-1994.
Call, buddy.
Got to, man. Hit up the Daily Stack. He's got all your things you need to get your video content, your voice content. He can make you look pretty, or he can make you look silly, or he can make you look pretty silly. Whatever you're looking for, hit that man up. All right. Much love, guys. Peace.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.